Hey everyone, welcome back to another action figure review, G.I.Joe Classified Edition. And today we're going to be looking at Ralph Nunchuk Badducci. And Nunchuk is part of the original Ninja Force from A Real American Hero and was released in 1992 originally, along with Dojo and a Ninja Force version of Storm Shadow and can't remember how to pronounce the other guy's name, Shebang, something like that, as well as Slice and Dice for the Cobra side. Now, Ninja Force is interesting because in the original, the 92 line, I'm not sure what Dice is from, but Slice is British. He's from the United Kingdom. And the other three Joes, Nunchuk, Dojo, and Shebang, were all Americans, but Dojo and Nunchuk are Italian. And Shebang, I'm not sure what his nationality is American, but I'm not sure what his ethnic background is, but they were just three, white guys that Storm Shadow trained and trained to join Ninja Force, essentially. And so yeah, that's why his name's Ralph Badducci. He's Italian, and apparently he was trained by the Blind Master until he caught the eye of Storm Shadow, and Storm Shadow trained him personally and brought him into Ninja Force. So we've already gotten kind of a Ninja Force Storm Shadow. The Arctic Mission Storm Shadow is essentially the same costume as the Ninja Force version of Storm Shadow. But I've heard that apparently that was what the Storm Shadow in the G.I.Joe Snake Eyes Origins movie was supposed to be dressed like. And then they changed their mind and they put him in the off-white uniform that we ended up getting. So, but they didn't want to let that design go to waste, so they repackaged it as Arctic Mission Storm Shadow and released that in the classified line. So that's why we got that version before we got the normal Storm Shadow version. But yeah, Nunchuk is part of Ninja Force. Like I said, he came out in 1992, near the tail end of the series. There were only 2 more waves of A Real American Hero after that, and then the line ended. So he was one of the last figures to be released. And strangely enough, one of the earliest figures to be released and classified. So taking a look at the box, Nunchuk came in under the plastic-free packaging still. So you got the diorama shot on the front with the artwork right there. The ribbon with all his gear. Ralph Nunchuk Badducci. G.I.Joe Classified. G.I.Joe Classified. Legalese on the bottom. A shot of his face. This is number 80 in the line. There's his file card info. Bigger picture of the artwork on the front. Number 80. And then here's his shot of the gear again. 6.1 inches tall. Close-up of his shoulder. Close-up of his side profile. More legalese. That's it for the box. Well, actually, one more thing. Nah, I don't really see. It looks like he's on top of a building in the middle of a large city. That kind of looks like it has levels like the flag, but he's definitely not on the flag. I was thinking maybe that would be Storm Shadow's water tower. In the comics, he had a hideout inside of a disused water tower, like that didn't have any water in it, basically. And he and Billy Kessler would hide out there and train. And for those who didn't read the comics, Billy Kessler was the son of Cobra Commander. But yeah, I don't see any Easter eggs here. can't really place any of this stuff. Now, Nunchuk was after Sunbow, so... In fact, I think he was even after Deke. I can't remember when the Deke series ended, but I'm pretty sure it was before 92. Although it might have been still going after 92, in which case maybe there's something Deke related as part of the Easter egg in this box. But if you know what the Easter egg is for this figure, or if there is one, let me know down below. Now moving on to the figure. Nunchuk comes attired in a head to toe in a green camouflage style outfit with some armor bits and mask and boot of different color. He has a couple overlays here. The belt is one overlay, and then his harness is another. Both could be removed if you wanted. The hood, kind of, or whatever the technical name for this is made of a really soft plastic, softer than the rest, but it is not cloth. I can't remember if the original figure had cloth. I know the original Dusty did, but I can't remember if the original Nunchuk did. And I had the original Nunchuk, but I still can't remember. That's because it came in at the end of the line. I was already out of playing with toys at that point. The only reason I got Nunchuk is because I thought he looked cool. So I just bought him and displayed him on my shelf. So even back then, I was just into displaying figures like I do now. But I can't, like I said, I can't remember if his hood was cloth or not. These pieces here are not, as you can see, that is, I don't think that's sculpted, that's just painted right onto the arm there. And this piece is probably glued down, so these aren't removable. Same with the forearm pieces. And he's got these wrap boots, tabby boots. I think those are called, the ones with the little notch in the toe there. I could be mispronouncing it, but it's T-A-B-I. I think is how you spell it. So tabby, tobby, some other way of saying it, I'm not sure. And then on this back, you've got the peg hole at the top of the harness, but this kind of gets in the way, so luckily he doesn't have a backpack, because that would be infuriating. And you got clips for the nunchucks, and sheath for the sword, sheath for the knife. He can carry everything on him, which is good, as long as you put the claws in his hands. Going over articulation, he can't look up too much because of this and getting in the way, but he can look up about that far. You can look down almost all the way, almost bury the chin. You can do the Exorcist, but you just got to get the hood out of the way, kind of. He's got some tilt there. His arm can go all the way around. He can't get a lot, unfortunately, on the T-pose because of the shoulder piece. The shoulder piece sticks right there. So that's about as far up as you can go that way. That's annoying. It's annoying when that happens. I guess if you pull the shoulder piece out of the way, now even then you can't really get up that far. That's too bad. He does have the butterfly joint. He's got let's see, he does have a bicep cut, but again, you can't get a lot of movement out of that because the shoulder piece gets in the way. I really wish they hadn't done it like that. It really limits the articulation. Oh well. He does have double jointed pinless arms, but again, the shoulder piece gets in the way. This is probably like one of the worst designed shoulder pieces I've ever seen. No matter what you try to do, it gets right in the way. It gets I can't get the other part of the elbow to move. So usually when you just bring it up like that, and that pulls the rest of it with it, but it can't do that because the shoulder pad, the shoulder armor gets in the way. Fury, annoying. So he's got the up-down hinge on his left hand and on his right hand. He does have trigger finger on his left hand, even though he doesn't use guns, so that's strange. And his right hand, as you can see, his right hand has 2 fingers like that. So I'm thinking that his right hand, at least, is reused from Storm Shadow, because Storm Shadow had his hand just like that, so you could knock the arrow in there for his bow. He does have an ab crunch, and since he doesn't have anything in the way, you get a lot of range out of that. So that far forward and that far back. Unfortunately, mine is really loose. Not as bad as Firefly, but like the ratcheting is terrible on it. Like he's not. Oh yeah, he does a little bit. If you shake him hard enough, he'll flop around, but. Again, like my Firefly, he's not going to... Like, he can still hold a pose. It's just, I don't like it when things are so loose. He can twist a little bit. Doesn't get a lot of torso tilt, unfortunately. And his leg just popped off. Wow, that joint's really loose. Look at that. I've never seen it that loose before. He can do the Van Damme splits. Yeah, that's not in there really well. But hey, if you ever wanted to see what it looked like inside of the thigh joints, now you can. You can kick out about that far. And kick out about that far. He does have a thigh cut. Double jointed, pinless knees. He does have a boot cut. His foot can hinge all the way back. And hinge all the way forward, just about. He does have rocker there, and peg holes on the bottom. Now, when I took this guy out of the box before the review, I did notice the hinge and the ab, but I didn't go through the leg joint as much, so I didn't notice the leg issue until now. Man, that's awful. I can't tell what the issue... Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, see the gap there is much wider in that leg than it is there. It's much more narrow. It's like 50% wider over on this side. That's why it's popping out so easily. Yeah. Well, at least it doesn't just fall right off. I can still get him to stand. I just gotta be careful when I'm moving him around. Accessory-wise, It comes with quite a few. Now, technically, this counts as an accessory, but it's just an extra, like, flap of sash or ribbon or whatever that goes in the back of his headband here. And just peg that in, and then you can have it laying flat, kind of, or have it blowing in the wind or whatever direction you want. Yeah, Hasbro needs to really shore up their QC issues. This is Bush League stuff. This isn't the kind of thing you expect from a billion-dollar corporation. This is the kind of thing you'd expect from a Kickstarter organization. Now, because his name is Nunchuk, he does come with a pair of nunchucks. Now, out of the package, sorry, let me get these focused. Out of the package, these are straight, but I had put them in the holsters to loosen them up a bit. It's quite rubbery, so don't have to worry about it breaking or anything. Not easily, anyway. I may add paint to these later. I haven't decided yet, but if I did, I'd probably paint the grips brown, put some silver on the chain, or some chrome anyway. And I don't know what I would do with the bottom parts. I can't tell if the bottom bits are supposed to be a snake or a dragon or some other animal, but they're so small that the detail is in there. It just looks like a mouth. You can't see any eyes or any other kind of detail, really. And he's got, he's got two parts, or two sets of holes in the back of his belt there that you can stick these in. And it might require some finesse to get them in there because the plastic is, like I said, is kind of rubbery. And that goes for the handles too, not just the chain. Now, it would be nice if the handle had been a sturdier plastic and the chain had been the way it is, because then the chain would still be able to bend freely. But the sturdier plastic would enable you to thread it through these holes easier, because the holes are tight. And that's what she said. And it's hard to get the handles through because the handles are the same soft plastic as the chain. But there you go. So he can hold his nunchucks there in his belt. He also comes with this dagger. Focus. And I usually paint these, but haven't gotten around to doing it for this one. So eventually I will paint the blade. But it's just plain black plastic, or kind of a gray plastic, really. And that goes in his sheath on his chest. Did I put it in the right way? Yeah, it was in the right way. Right there. I think they made the sheath a little too small. It should go in all the way up to the handle, but oh well. He also comes with a pair of swords. And yeah, these look bent now, but they were actually straight out of the box. I bent them accidentally because I put them in his sheath and then put him back in the box like that. I should have taken them out first, but because he was sitting in the box for like a week and a half, they bent. So now I gotta have to unbend them at some point. But pretty nice looking swords, similar hilt handle design as the nunchucks. Got some green tape along the bottom of the blade, and then the blade itself is painted a nice silver color. And they're both kind of curved at the end. Why does it keep focusing? Not focusing. Come on. And they also got this serrated edge near the handle there too as well. And he can slide these into his belt here. This is a tight fit because of the bend. So you got to kind of have to force it a little bit. But don't worry if it feels like it's not going. And just give it a little bit more strength and it'll slide through eventually. Finally, he comes with a pair of claws. And again, I haven't gotten around to painting, but I'm definitely going to paint those blades to make them look better. And mine came out a little bent out of the box. So you want to kind of work them out a little bit to make them so that they're not like pressed against each other like that. But you got to be careful too. You don't want to bend them too far in the opposite direction and snap them right off. And they have this gripping piece on the end there where you can just want to slide them around his hands here. Right around his fingers. Just like that. You can do that on both hands. It would be nice for a figure like this that's going to have something like this. If they gave him hands, I would work with it better. Instead of hands with like trigger fingers and holding an arrow to knock into your bow fingers. That just makes it harder to get them on. But at least you know they'll stay on. And there he is. All ready to go. Hopefully his abs won't buckle and his leg won't fall off when he goes into battle against Cobra. That would be embarrassing. Imagine getting ready to kick a guy and then your leg goes flying off. Well, there's Ralph Nunchuk Badducci. Not as good as a figure that I was hoping. He looks pretty cool, but the QC issues, the ab crunch, the loose ab crunch, that alone would be bad enough. But the issue with his right leg, disappointed, kind of. I mean, I'm not kind of. I am disappointed, but I'm disappointed more because it's a pretty decent looking figure, and he's got some nice accessories. He's got unique claws, unique swords. I think the dagger is unique also, and the unique nunchucks. I have a lot of unique stuff for this character. Now, Nunchuk was released in 2023, late 2023, I think. Like, I didn't get him until this month. I didn't get him until February, but I think he was released in like October and November last year in North America. And probably in Asia, since that's where the factories are. They always get everything first. But since we've got him, and we had the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, which is essentially the Ninja Force Storm Shadow, they probably won't redo that one, but we probably get the other Ninja Force fighters at some point. Now, one thing to note is that his box, the box that he came in, didn't label him as Ninja Force, so they might not be doing that as a separate subgroup. It might just be, look, here's Nunchuk, he's a member of the Joe team. Ninja Force may not be a thing in classified. It'll probably just be, they'll release the Ninja Force guys, but they won't be called Ninja Force, basically. So we've got him, so we're probably going to get Dojo and the other guy. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name again. And hopefully we'll get Slice and Dice, because those two are the cooler looking ones, in my opinion, of the group. Even though they're Cobra, not Joe. And then, of course, there's also Ninja Force versions of Scarlet and Snake Eyes and Zartan. And a few other characters I can't remember. I stopped collecting by that point. So these guys came out, what, 93, 94? In fact, Ninja Force was the very last group of figures I bought in the Real American Hero line. Like I said, I was out of toy playing by then, but I bought them anyway because they look cool, and I wanted to display them on my shelf with some of my other figures that hadn't broken yet from years of play. Along with, you know, Desert Scorpion, Crimson Guard Immortals. Those guys were cool looking too. So these were the last figures I bought. In fact, Nunchuk may be the last figure. I'm not sure exactly which figure was the last one I found and purchased, but he's definitely one among them. Give me a comment down below. Let me know how yours is, QC-wise. Did you get that loose ab crunch? Is your right leg, is the groove in your right leg wider, allowing the ball joint to pop out easily? Hopefully not. I don't know if this is an issue that's widespread with the figure, or if I just got a bum one. But anyway, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.